NetScientific is an intellectual property commercialization group. That means a technology commercialization and investment business focused on healthcare. We are building companies by investing in early stage, game-changing technologies with a large commercial potential. We do focus on chronic diseases. We have an approach through therapeutics, digital health, and diagnostics. We have a portfolio of companies in the US, 4 companies, and 1 in the UK in Belfast. And basically, we have the fortune to have very strong investors behind us, such as Woodford Management and Invesco Perpetual. Well, of course, because we have a number of exciting game-changing opportunities, they're all very interesting. But I would like to focus on one, which is Glycotest, which is a liver diagnostic company that will provide commercial laboratory services for patients suffering from liver diseases. Because we know that the detection of early stage liver cancer is particularly difficult worldwide. We know that the dosage of a blood test called alpha-fetoprotein is not specific nor sensitive enough to detect those cancers. Therefore, we are really excited to develop a new technology called Glycotest, which will measure the dosage of a fairly simple sugar in the blood called fucose. And we know that a high level of fucose in the blood does lead eventually to a chronic liver disease that could lead in itself to a cancer, a liver cancer. So we have good data, and we plan to further validate this technology by embarking on a clinical validation test that will encompass hundreds of patients. But we are really excited about Glycotest because potentially this will change the paradigm of care in liver cancer. Well, we are a small company, so we are focusing as of today on the completion of our Series A. And we want to do that because this is part of our business model. And that was the purpose of the last fundraise that we had early June. So once we will have a hard exit, then we will certainly look at materializing 1 or 2 opportunities we're looking at right now and putting them into our pipeline, basically. But that will take some months. Basically, we are always looking at maximizing shareholder value. That's obviously very important for our investors. So therefore, we don't make any short-sighted decisions, and we always have a look from a medium to long-term perspective. Obviously, we're looking at hard exits that are extremely important for the sector and for us in particular. But at the same time, IPOs or a sale of one of our assets is also the target. We do not have any precise percentage as the opposite of a VC fund. Part of our business model, we have a majority shareholding in our investment. And down the road, of course, we will be diluted. Therefore, we will move from a majority shareholding to a minority shareholding position. Usually, after the first financing round, we will keep between 20 and 40% shareholding in those investments. But I have to emphasize that more important than that is the creation of the value itself, which is important for our investors, much more than a percentage in shareholding. Regarding the next milestones, obviously the completion of our Series A for our portfolio of companies is the event to happen. So that means that, for instance, let me give you a few examples. We have Vortex, which is our cancer circulating cell company. We do expect to place a number of instruments in the US in a number of key centers. We do expect also to sell our first instrument in the US. For Glycotest, this is the opening of a CLIA lab in the US as well. And for ProAxis, which is a respiratory diagnostic company based in Belfast, we do expect to commercialize our RD platform, and at the same time our little device called NetStick that will prevent a super infection of patients with COPD. Finally, for Wanda, which is our digital health company in the US, we do expect also to enter into a commercialization phase of this technology, which goal is to reduce the rehospitalization rate of patients with chronic diseases such as COPD or CHF. So all those companies have been now pulled through the value chain up to the commercialization stage, and the goal with the completion of the Series A is to propel them into the commercial stage.